Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to dive into Chapter 3 of Vecna, Eve of Ruin, Amanda Hayman's book. She was the lead on this book, very exciting. She was the lead on Strixhaven, and Strixhaven was a phenomenally successful book for Dungeons & Dragons, and I think that's why she was given the lead on this book, right? Because she did a tremendous job on the lead of that book. So let's talk about Chapter 3. So at this point, the player characters are in possession of the first piece of the Rod of Ruin. And the first piece leads them to the second piece. So the Rod of Ruin actually leads them, each piece leads them to the next piece, right? So where is the next piece? It is on the astral plane, in the astral sea, near a dead god, near the body of a dead god, okay? And it is specifically on a space galleon that has been sundered into 3 pieces, okay? So the player characters reach the astral plane, they go into the astral sea, and they come across this huge stone corpse, right? Now, when gods die, their bodies float in the astral sea, right? And they're huge, they're massive, they're like a mile long, right? And but once they're there, they're just husks, right? And often they fall apart. That's exactly what's happened here. And this space galleon has been torn into 3 separate pieces, right? And this dead god is just floating in the astral sea. What's really interesting is this space galleon that has crashed into the dead body of this god. This space galleon is sundered and trapped within this dead god husk, right? And what's really interesting is there's literally, I think there's a half a dozen to a dozen different characters from this wrecked space galleon, which goes by the name of the Lambent Zenith, okay? And all these people are stranded there, and because their space galleon is broken, there's no way for them to leave, okay? Now, actually, there is a way for them to leave. Anybody, right, can just float through the astral sea, and you can propel yourself using your own mind, right? Now, first of all, people are capable of doing that, but they don't always know that they can do that, right? And so, so basically, the people who are stranded here are worried about, just propelling themselves off into the astral sea because it's so huge that you could easily get lost, right? Now, the issue is you actually cannot starve, okay? What's fascinating is within the astral sea, you do not need sustenance. You can live forever without food, right? So you have air and you have food, which is pretty astounding, right? The way they explain it. And you can be there forever. So you can be lost and isolated and abandoned, but you will not starve to death, right? You will not die from lack of drink. You will not die from lack of food. This is absolutely fascinating. It really is a profound, unique thing, right? It's really, really special and really different. It's really a different, and it gets into the into Spelljammer, right? Into the Spelljammer astral plane. Well, actually, the astral plane, and Spelljammer is simply how you convey yourself through effectively through the astral plane. You can convey yourself other ways. You don't need a ship to convey yourself through the astral plane. However, it takes incredible hope and determination to get to the astral sea without a ship, because you really could get lost, right? So this was what really struck me, was just we're going into Spelljammer round. We're going into Spelljammer, right? Which is the astral plane, the astral sea, where the astral dominions are, where the wild space systems are, where the realm systems are, where astral dominion exists, all of this, right? But more than anything, we really learned the true nature of Spelljammer. And the reality is we really are rediscovering Spelljammer, because one of the things I think that the new reprints on Dragonlance and on Eberron and on Ravenloft is that the old guard is not doing a good job. Like, they're not giving this stuff to new players, right? And if they do, they go, and they blow the dust off in their face, and they're all like, you know, like, and so these new books are really bringing these classic settings to life in a way that's exciting, right? Not like, you know, your grandpa just showed you a book, right? Like, so it's really compelling, and we're getting a lot of use out of realms, you know, Ravenloft, Eberron, Spelljammer, Dragonlance. Squeeze the juice. There's still juice there. And the OSR just, they go like this. Ain't no juice coming out, right? Like, so it's exciting to see old settings get new flavor and new power. So thank you for letting me share. Every single word that you just heard is my humble opinion on what's the coolest things in Chapter 3 of Vecna, Eve of Ruin. What's important is when I hear what you think about Vecna, Eve of Ruin. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.